here we go. Okay, good morning. We are going to actually practice wire techniques today, okay? On the rubric, it will say, did you use effective wire techniques? Ineffective wire techniques basically are evident when your sculpture falls apart, okay? Poor craftsmanship is evident when, if you were handing your sculpture to a friend, you poke them, okay? Like if they get scratched by your sculpture, if there are like rough, sharp edges sticking out of your connections, then that is poor craftsmanship. Those things will be on the rubric, and I'm not going to show you the whole rubric because there are some things that we're still learning. So just know, craftsmanship and effective wire technique will be on the rubric, and that's what you're going to learn about today. If you are not in school on Thursday, today, okay, just know that you need to have, for Friday, a continuous line drawing, because those of us that don't have one, that's what we're going to do today. Okay, like if you switched your object, you're going to do that today, along with practicing wire. As long as you have, by third period today, I'm going to actually check everybody's Pinterest. If you were like, oh no, I have no idea what I'm doing, I'm stuck, and I didn't finish, I will check and I will give everybody feedback via, how cool is this, Pinterest messaging. You have to be following me, and I have to be following you back in order to get that, okay? If you don't follow me, okay, then I can't give you a grade. And any non-grade factors in as a, and you haven't even had me, you are good, sadly. However, if you have made an attempt, you can also, do you know if you're following me, message me, and you can do that during class, like saying, I got stuck, or my thingy kept spinning, and I couldn't, something, I don't know. It's the first week of school, people. As long as you're proving to me, through your pins, that you have an understanding of the principles of design, then you are going to do well. It's worth 20 points, okay? So if something happened and you didn't finish it, I will give you a chance to revise tonight. I would say get on like a PC, get on a computer and do it from there if you're having difficulty with your phone. And then in the future we might have to rethink and maybe head to the library if that's easier for people. Raise your hand if you think that would be easier to go to the library next time. Okay. Don't feel bad. I really need to know. The worst is an art survey where I'm like, raise your hand when? And nobody raises your hand. And then I say the opposite and nobody still raises their hand and they're all like, oh, help me out here. So thank you. Okay. So we are going to answer these questions today. How do we create effective wire techniques? Okay, this is how. First you need wire cutters, needle nose pliers, and your 3D object. Well, actually you don't need that to practice the techniques. This is for us in class. Okay. I'm going to use scissors, but I could use lineman pliers instead. Lineman pliers. These are lineman pliers. They cut extremely hard kinds of wire, low gauge wire, which is wide, right? So really kind of like work great. They're all sharp because I tested them before the first day of school. So I know that they will cut, so it's good. They don't last forever. These are brand new X-Acto scissors. They cut everything. I use these at home. They cut plastic, like thick plastic. They cut wire. They cut all kinds of stuff. They're great. Good thing to have. These will not cut. These are needle nose pliers. Some of them, however, have a blade on the inside, which is great. They don't all have that. In this case, we're going to use them for curling the wire for our connection. Okay. So, I will need 2 pieces of wire to make a connection, okay? When I make a connection, this is what I want to do. One kind is a hook and eye connection. I'm going to take my needle nose plier, curl it around, and my needle nose plier makes this really handy dandy. Look at how this is curved already. Woo! So cool. Who's taken the jewelry and metals class? You are going to rock this.
I already took it.
You're going to rock it.
Oh, yeah.
So, there, yeah.
You don't even know.
Okay. I have an eye, meaning a little circle here. Okay. And make another one. Here's a hook. Okay. If I make a larger hook, I can actually make a kinetic sculpture. Who can tell me what kinetic means? It can move! How cool is that? Yup. And in that case, I'm going to leave the hole open, so there's some negative space there, and I'm going to pinch this way. Notice your needle nose pliers, they should have teeth on the inside. Okay, the teeth, and I know this is, guys in the back, I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm going to try to make it, what I basically did is I crushed with the teeth of my needle nose pliers these 2 different wires together, this way. And that made a full connection. And look, I can make something that swings. So super fun to make things that swing. Is it on the rubric? Is it a requirement? No. Nope. But might be neat, right? Okay. If you do not want to make wire, if you have 2 pieces of wire and you need a firm connection, still make an eye, because you need a hole to put your other wire in. Make a hook. Hook it like this. And then you're going to take those teeth that are inside your needle nose pliers and you're going to crush both your hook and your eye, tucking your little sharp edges of your wire in. Note to self, if you look at what I don't even know, watch, whenever I say, oh, watch this, this is going to happen, you know, it usually doesn't happen. But if I crush again and again and again, because we're only starting out with aluminum wire here, what's probably going to happen is it'll break. Yeah, of course it doesn't happen when I say it's going to happen, but it could weaken the wire to the point where it just breaks. So as new wire artists or wire sculptors, what I would suggest is that you have a little extra wire, right? So have a little extra, and then if you got to cut it down, it's okay. Because it's so sad when I say, well, you got to redo this whole line. It's not the end of the world. Sometimes you got to redo a whole line if your wire breaks, if you're crushing it too much. That being said, if anyone would like to work large, this is, and this is recycled aluminum, just for demos. You guys can each have a spool, and there's extra spools underneath. If you would like to work tall, you may. However, I don't know if this will hold up, especially if you're going to make like a 1.5 tall giraffe. You have to have strong hands because you would have to use this type of wire. Okay, this type of wire. I ordered this wire just for this purpose. It's a little harder to bend. It's not too difficult, but it is harder. So, anything tall. Anything long and short, like an alligator, and if you wanted to make a big one, that's okay too. It's okay, you don't have to use this type of wire, because you don't really have to worry about gravity so much, right? Low to the ground. You can have the belly scraping the tabletop and it's okay. Alright? So, we are going to work on wire sculpture for about a week and a half of just, you know, sculpture making time. That should give you enough time, like if you make a mistake or have to start over, like say you think you're halfway through your sculpture and you're like, this isn't working out. Whenever we're using a new material, you know, there's a little challenge in the beginning, so, you know, it's nice to kind of like start practicing by doing something that's actually on your animal, your continuous line drawing. So let me tell you how you can get started. First, let me just see, raise your hand if you still need to create a sketch of your new item. Okay, like five people. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you, after you have your sketch, the next step. Voila! Okay. And I need more wire. If you're sketching, you know, feel free to sketch. But this is for, like, everybody else. And you could just, while you're sketching your continuous line drawing, you could just listen, and that would be great. This is really fun. Just saying. This is really cool. All right. Take your sketch. Take your wire. Give yourself a nice long length of wire to start with. If you need a new spool, there's new ones underneath. Like say you just, it looks, from my view, everybody has a good amount of wire, okay? And then I would start from left to right if you're right-handed, opposite if you're a lefty. Who's my lefty? Okay, so maybe start on this side because you're like this. Does that make sense? You're like this, kind of working. If you're a righty like me, I would start over here and then start with like the nose. It's almost like you're drawing a line in space, right? And we know continuous line drawing, so that's why this is the first project. The medium might be challenging, but it's kind of an easier way to think in 3 dimensions for new sculptors. Also, having your animal in front of you will help you. So, I'm going to start with the nose. %90 of the time, you're going to have your needle nose pliers in hand. And the cool thing is, there isn't one correct way. I think it's my favorite thing about art. There's so many different ways you can do this. And then you just start. And this is going to go up. This is going to go, I'm here, and I'm going to go up and around. Jawbone. Okay? And something like a pointy ear. I'm going to use my crushing. So here's an ear. And look at what I can do. Not this way, but this way. I can make a point and just start crushing it with the teeth of my needle nose. Look at that point. Nice and pointy. Okay, so there's my ear. And the cool thing about wire too is you can like bend it. You can just bend it how you want it. So say I want these ears like going in a certain direction, I can just bend them. Okay? Okay, so have at it. JD, I believe it's your turn for music.